let's throw caution to the wind and give it a go.
Like you did with Takagi. Sorry.
You know,
I'm going to be doing this a lot.
Geno and Eric got a show. Talk about the stuff you need to know. Life's a ride, we got no control. Twists and turns gonna take its
Subject
toll.
to Changes podcast. We've had a great Thanksgiving. At least I did. I'm here with Eric Michaelian, my co-host, good friend. Eric, did you have a good Thanksgiving?
I had a wonderful Thanksgiving, Geno, and I'm thankful for friends like you and family like that.
Very thankful for you. Very thankful for all my good friends. And I even am in such a good mood. I'm giving forgiveness for all the assholes in my life. I forgive you all, more or less.
'Tis the
Um,
season.
'Tis the season. Yeah,
You know what?
joy, love.
You know what season it is?
It is the Christmas season.
Die Hard season, baby!
The Die Hard season. Maybe the best action film of all time. If there's a debate, it's at least in the conversation. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, it came out in '88. That's almost 40 years ago,
Oh my God.
and it's still widely considered one of the best action movies of all time. Jesus Christ, this is a universally loved film. For example, my mother, who doesn't really like action movies, my mom loves Die Hard.
Does she ever say yippee ki yay, motherfucker?
I'm working on getting her to say the F word, but like, let's not discuss that here because it'll jinx it.
Oh yeah, no, no. I want to encourage that if I can.
Just open up the
So,
vocabulary a little bit.
so, not, so 1988, a great year for movies, a great year for music. This unlikely action star, Bruce Willis, comes into the action world that was owned by guys like Van Damme and Seagal and Schwarzenegger and Stallone. He was a lot different coming from moonlighting, kind of being the everyday man. How much do you think that helped him as John McClane?
Well, Bruce Willis back then was really relatable. He didn't have, movie star good looks. He kind of just looked like your average Joe. He's a good looking dude, but he didn't have that polish. He didn't have that chiseled jawline and those like massive pec muscles like Stallone and Schwarzenegger. This is like your dad was an action movie. He was in good shape, but he didn't have six-pack abs. He was relatable, very relatable, and very sarcastic.
And also, he was not perfect. He had character flaws. You know, he had an issue with his wife, Holly, kind of excelling at her job. He was quick to argue. There was an edge to John McClane. He was relatable because he was imperfect. He wasn't Arnie in Commando. He was John McClane, a guy who's on the verge of divorce, a guy who's been separated from his wife, a guy who deals with assholes in, I think he was a New York City cop.
Mhm.
He's dealing with these scumbags on the street, his life in danger every day. It's tough for that guy. So yeah, I can see why John McClane or Bruce Willis resonated because I can't see anyone else in this role. Could you?
No, absolutely not. The role and the actor are like kind of one and the same, and that I
Hmm.
I feel like they probably didn't know what John McClane was until Bruce Willis took the role.
And they were actually, you know, who they offered the role to first.
Frank Sinatra.
That guy, that
Yes.
that that loser, that guy sucks. And so to think that they were going to do Die Hard with 87-year-old Frank Sinatra, that movie would have never taken off, even if he sang "I Did It My Way" as he pushed Gruber off the building.
Actually, I'm now that I'm thinking about it, a trailer with My Way and just like explosions and running around and machine guns blowing up. That might be a pretty dope trailer. But they had to offer it to him because they were
Hmm.
contractually obligated to offer him this role before they offered it to anybody else because he played some version of the character in a previous film and he had like the
Yes,
the option or something like that. So it wasn't
yes.
they weren't just like fuck, it'd be a nuanced take on an action film for the 80s? Frank Sinatra.
And this happened also with Dirty Harry, because I think John Wayne was offered Dirty Harry, and he turned it down because he was too old. So it's not unheard of that these older guys are given a role like this, but they need to be in like Cocoon, not this.
John Wayne and Frank Sinatra in Cocoon. I can see
Oh yeah.
this.
Now, would you put it John Wayne in a cowboy hat or not?
For Cocoon, I want to see him wearing nothing but a cowboy hat.
Oh, now you're speaking my language. Uh,
Rio,
so
bravo, sir.
so we have Bruce Willis in this role, but there were rumors that this was going to be turned into Commando 2.
Mm.
Now, what do you think Arnie would have done with this film had they actually gone through with it? Do you think it would have had the impact, or do you think it just would have been kind of mindless?
I think if they kept John McTiernan, who did Predator, and he was able to get a lot of interesting stuff out of Arnie in that movie, I think
Hmm.
it would have been a good film because John McTiernan's a great director. Jeb
Yes.
Stewart and Stephen E. D'Souza are great writers, but you wouldn't have the emotional resonance that Bruce Willis brings to this because Bruce Willis doesn't get enough credit. He's a really good dramatic actor when he wants to be, when he cares. Oh, God
Yes.
knows that hasn't happened for a while, but like
No.
in this movie, he's putting everything he has into it. Like his career is on the line.
And it was. This was his one shot because there was so much money behind Die Hard that if it bombed, Bruce Willis would be back to moonlighting in a heartbeat. And he nailed it. This movie has some great characters, but maybe the best character is the Nakatomi building itself. Is that a cool building or what?
That's dope buildings. I think it was the Fox office building, right?
Wonderful building.
It looks very interesting. Where do we set this movie? And they just happen to be standing inside the Fox building. I've got a brilliant idea.
Yep.
We already own the goddamn place. And
And
speaking of
there
which,
were
I really wanted to like watch this as a piece of cinema. I didn't want to just
sure.
be a fanboy because I mean I could certainly watch this movie a million times and just
Yes.
give it a pass on everything. But I was like, let's scrutinize this a little bit and see like what makes this movie really good. And I think
Yeah.
part of it is you're right, is that building, but also the way that John McTiernan shoots the building and the way he sets everything up in that first act. A lot of it was a set. The office part was a set. A lot of the different floors were sets. But
Hmm.
I think with an eye for this building, and it kind of looms large in the distance. When Al Pala's at the gas station, he goes and he looks over, and it's just like, bam! It's like right there.
Ah.
It's
Yes.
such a
Yes.
great shot. All the imposing shots of like leading up to it. He's driving in the car with Argyle and the building right in front of him, and it's getting larger and larger. And it's
Yes.
like so foreboding.
And everything about it really, like the way it was shot, and even adding the Run DMC Christmas song in the beginning was delightful because it's saying right away, this is a Christmas movie. When you mix in the joy of Christmas, and even though this wasn't a direct Christmas movie, and I don't know if this was by design, but there's so much Christmas wrapped in this movie that I think you can't help but to get some of that Christmas spirit out of it as you watch this action extravaganza.
Well, just curiously, like, what do you think would disqualify this movie from being a Christmas movie? Because to me, ever since I was a kid, it's been pretty obvious that this is a Christmas movie. And I've treated it as such, much to the consternation of my family. But I've always said this is a Christmas movie, and everybody else caught on to the debate later. What do you
I,
think would disqualify this from being a Christmas movie?
I think what would disqualify this disqualifies a lot of films, and this doesn't suffer from this. It takes place at Christmas, but there's none of the Christmas feel to it. I saw a recent film, it may have been Hallmark or Lifetime, one of those things. It was about cattle rustlers where they're fighting over land, and it took place at Christmas, and it was a terrible movie. But by the end of it, I realized at no point did I even think of Christmas. If this film, if you watched it and at no point you thought about Christmas, then I could see it. But from the now I have a machine gun, ho ho ho, to the Santa Claus decorations, to the wreaths, to the music, it's through and through a Christmas movie, not just from decor but from feel. And I think that's what it captured. It captured like the Christmas spirit, even if it didn't mean to. So it would take a lot to disqualify this. But the fact everyone thinks it says that we were absorbed in it and we felt it. So it had the spirit. If it didn't have the spirit, then it's gone. I guess that's my answer.
Like Lethal Weapon, I wouldn't consider a Christmas movie, but it takes place around Christmas.
Hmm.
Batman Returns, same thing. Someone said that this movie takes place on Christmas more than A Christmas Story, than It's a Wonderful Life, than
Hmm.
all of these other Christmas classics. Like this movie takes place on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, guys.
Yep.
How much more do you need?
And you're right because like Lethal Weapon, you don't get that feel. First Blood is a Christmas movie, but you don't get that feel. It needs to capture it, and they did a few things with music, and like I said, putting the Santa hat on Carl's brother
Hmm.
is hilarious. There is a lot of Christmas here. It's a great movie. I guess we'll get into it. John McClane, New York cop, coming to California, and I think he says "fucking California" about 3 or 4 times because it is a culture shock, right? Like you
Yeah.
get New Englanders that go to California. It's a different way of life, different personalities. Like that's why that song, if you go to San Francisco, wear flowers in your hair or whatever the fuck that is, that's what this film is saying.
I lived in California for several years, and it was very shocking how different things were, and how alienated you can feel from like the culture there. Some lady just runs up and jumps into her boyfriend's arms at the airport, and they just start making out, and he's like, "Fucking California," and it's like, I'm a repressed East Coaster, okay? Like, I don't be doing that shit in airports, guys.
Now,
Smoking and carrying guns, I do that in airports. I don't go out with my girl.
when you went to California, did you wish they all could be California girls?
Let's move on.
Okay, so John McClane, yeah, he sees he sees the that beautiful hot blonde jumping in that guy's lap basically, and he's like fucking California. But I think part of it too is Holly. He's not been with Holly for a while,
Yeah.
so he's got a terrible life of working with dirtbags in New York City all day and going home and jacking off. That sucks. I'd be jealous too, wouldn't you?
Stop setting me up with questions like that, man. Not every sentence you say has to end with a question.
I'm just curious of you what you think. That's you should be happy. I'm very curious.
Wouldn't you have a bottle in one hand?
Okay, so okay, yeah, you can plead the fifth. John is going to the Nakatomi building to reunite with his wife. He's going to a Christmas party, which is another big thing where this thing is a Christmas party, big tree, all that stuff. He's gonna go there. I think initially his plan is to be nice to Holly and for Holly to take him back, but immediately he's pissed off because he talks to the security guard and he types in Holly's name and she's not even using his last name. She's using Gennaro. And that pisses him off. One, because McLean is a better last name than Gennaro. And two, he probably has a good like lineage. His father was probably an important man and grandfather and so on and so forth. So what did you think of Holly taking Gennaro instead of McLean? Were you against it like I was?
Not really. She said she was kind of caught between a rock and a hard place because it's a Japanese company and a married woman wouldn't be taken as seriously. So it had a lot to do with like women in the working force in the 80s and how they had to change and adapt and all that stuff. And if you wanted to be successful, you had to make these concessions. So I mean, I was kind of on board with it, stuck in his craw. And he said something about like I guess you forget your name is McLean unless you're signing checks. And I'm like, oh shit. Like
Zinger.
but
Go ahead.
he comes around at the end. He comes
Hmm.
around and he's like, this is my wife, Holly Gennaro, Holly McLean. I loved the way that got resolved because it was both of them making concessions for the other one. I thought that was a really great addendum at the end right there.
I agree with you, and I think like his whole thing, unless you're signing checks, um, he's having a hard time with her being a businesswoman because even Argyle says You didn't think she was going to make it. Why bother packing? So there is the thing where he is the hunter gatherer provider, the man in the relationship, and her becoming big in the Nakatomi Corporation threatened him a little bit. And
Mhm.
I kind of like that. I kind of like that. You know, he's like, my cop check ain't jack shit compared to that Nakatomi check. This sucks. So well played, Die Hard.
And I love the way they reveal it too, because it starts as a fight that hasn't finished, and they start laying into each other and they're not listening to each other, and he's just like, oh, this is what their marriage was like. Probably constant bickering because she's very forceful and he's very forceful. And these two like butting heads together. I can only imagine what like Wednesday nights were like, you know.
But it was probably fire in the bedroom too. It's that makeup sex stuff that's the good stuff, and
The
that's
bottle in one hand and your wife in the other.
so so he meets Takagi, who's running the show, and he also meets Ellis, who's one of the best characters in this film, who kind of has a hard on for Holly and isn't afraid to tell John all about it. What did you think, Ellis? Have you known guys like the Ellis? Because I have.
Oh God, yeah. Like self-important. I need to show all my accomplishments and do a line of cocaine on your desk for some reason. Can we just say everybody in this movie is perfectly cast?
Oh my God.
Not a false note among them. Everybody is just like so perfect in their roles.
Perfect is the right word. Even down to Argyle, the guy with the limo. Fantastic. The goons, like that guy, I forget his name, but the guy's like, next time, someone tells you to go, you run or whatever it was, and he shoots him in the crotch. That guy who got shot in the crotch. Wonderful.
When you get
Um,
a chance to kill someone, don't hesitate.
that guy. we, we get the Nakatomi Corporation. They're celebrating Christmas, um, and they're celebrating also the expansion of the company and the success. And we get a group. I believe they're German. With a name like Hans, that's a German name. If I meet a guy named Hans, I assume I'm meeting a German guy.
Oh, and
Were they German?
who plays Hans Gruber? Do you know?
The wonderful Alan Rickman.
Oh,
What a glorious actor. And but this is his movie. If you said, "Hey, where do you want Rickman the most?" I would say Die Hard. What would you say?
truly, madly, deeply. No, of course it's Die Hard.
And he plays
Hans
with
Gruber, one of the greatest villains in the history of movies. And
history.
this
Yes.
is Alan Rickman's very first feature film role. Yeah, talk
And
about fucking coming out swinging, dog. Jesus.
he ruled this. He leading his group of goons. The presence from the time they show up at the building, how they walk together. This is just a bunch of different elements in filmmaking coming together in all the right ways. But Hans and his group, they want to steal all the Barabons from Nakatomi, and so they take over. They take Takagi up to the top floor to get him to give the numbers to the safe. But Takagi kind of fucked himself. Holly tried to save him because at one point Hans was looking at another guy, thinking he was Takagi. Had Takagi not spoken up, Hans probably would have killed that guy and then said, "Hey, we better leave. We tried. This is the best we can do." But instead, Takagi steps up and says, "I am Takagi," and you knew he was fucked right then.
I think he actually knew who Takagi was. He knows all this stuff about him. It's like he's never seen a picture of him before. Either that or he's just incredibly racist. I thought he was testing Takagi for weaknesses. How far do I have to go and how many people do I have to look at and kind of threaten to see what kind of man Takagi is? Because he knows all these details about him, but he doesn't know the guy personally. So he
Yep.
goes, would he, if I threatened this guy, would he stand up? If I threaten this guy, will he stand up? If I threaten this guy, he's looking for that Spartacus moment. Like when does he stand up for everybody?
And he honestly didn't really need Takagi. In the end, like he had a backup plan. So
Mhm.
to get Takagi to agree to do what he needed would have made things easier for Hans and his group. But realistically, if Takagi didn't want to play, fuck Takagi. And that's what he did, right? Takagi's like, oh, you're just going to have to kill me. And he blows his head off. Very cool scene, very cool effect. What did you think of the blood in the brain splattering against the glass like that? I thought that was badass.
I fucking miss that shit. I miss practical blood just splashing against windows, you know? So much CGI blood these days. But also, that
Oh,
scene is so good because it starts out so kind of joking almost, but
yeah,
as it's happening, Takagi is like clearly sweating, and
yeah,
he's just saying like, "Oh, you know, hey, I don't got those codes." You know, he's trying to negotiate his way out of it, like
yep,
any big businessman would do.
yes,
And what he gets his brain splattered every time someone tries to negotiate with Hans Gruber. They wind up fucking dead.
yeah. And I like too how Hans kind of small talks about the suit that he wears, and then when they walk in, they see like the whatever it was. Is this about our vibrator factory in Indonesia or whatever it was? Um,
A bridge.
loved it, loved it.
You see that he wants to be in league with Takagi. I
Oh
read
yeah,
Forbes. I have Brooks Brothers. I love models too. He wants to be a bigwig, but
he does.
he's a man with a gun.
Yeah, you're right. He is like a lifetime failure that's kind of doing this because it's his only way to reach his goal of super wealth. And so they kill Takagi, and John witnesses it. He runs away, and he's like, why didn't you help him, John? Because then you'd be dead too, asshole. I fucking love Bruce Willis in this role. And his decision to call the cops leads to his good friend and great character, Sergeant Al Powell, played by Reginald Vell Johnson, who is no stranger to playing a cop.
I love that about this movie too is he's perfectly content with calling the cops and letting them handle everything. That is such a great moment in these movies. I don't want to do this. I'm going to sit it out, you know, like I'm not going to turn myself into the terrorist or anything, but I'm just going to sit up here and smoke cigarettes while you guys figure this shit out. Call me when it's done, you know?
Yes.
Like
Oh, I love that.
yeah, I know because it's such an anti Arnold Schwarzenegger, anti Stallone thing to do.
Yeah, because a lot of things that John does are reactionary.
Mhm.
Like they blow up the army guys that are coming up, and he says, "Let them back up," and he goes, "I'll take that under advisement," or Hans does, and John goes, "Take this under advisement, jerkweed," and fucking takes a bunch of C4 and dumps it down the elevator shaft. And the emotional shit that hurt their marriage helps his fight against the terrorists.
Oh God,
And
you're so right because that is such an emotional reaction. I mean, that's what action movies are, right? They're big emotional things where
yes,
I'm not going to sit here and talk about my feelings, but I'm feeling a certain way and I've got to fucking kill you right now. That is such a great visual of like an emotional reaction in an action movie. I'm going to drop this C4 down an elevator shaft and get those motherfuckers. That's such an astute observation there, Gino.
well, thank you, sir. And we do have um, things going on the inside, things going on the outside. So
Sorry, can I bring up one more thing? Because I've always thought this about this movie. John
mhm,
McClane in this movie is a good cop.
yes,
He does what cops are supposed to do for the most part. Aside from dropping a bomb down an elevator shaft, he never kills anybody he doesn't have to.
yes, I agree.
How easy would it have been to blow away Hans Gruber when he caught him lying to him? He doesn't kill him. He doesn't kill that one guy at the end who he just kind of blindsides with a butt of the gun to the face. That whole thing about like don't hesitate to kill someone is
Yeah,
because he was like freeze, hold it right there, like don't move. That's what a good fucking cop does.
he did that with Carl's brother too. He put up a
Yeah,
gun to his head. He wasn't going to kill him until the guy said there are rules for policemen. He roughed him up, and they got into the fight that led to his death.
he
So
tried to knock him out. Good cop.
he is your good cop. He's fighting the terrorists. You got Sergeant Al Powell showing up, and he's kind of duped at first by the fake security guard. He's ready to leave. John McClane, who called in, help me. There's terrorists, and they kind of like dismissed it. You got Al Powell, who's ready to leave until Bruce Willis drops a body on Al's car and says one of the iconic lines. Welcome to the party, pal.
I didn't notice this until this viewing. Again, a movie you can watch 100 times and get something new from it. When the car is backing up, after the body falls on it, and you see that shot of Argyle like in the car on the phone dancing, I never
Yeah.
noticed that the body goes flying off the car in that shot.
Oh, I never noticed that either.
If you think about it, the body falls on the thing, he's backing up, and the body's gone when he falls over the wall. I didn't notice until this time that it just goes flying off the hood in that shot.
Love it. And I also love the line. This thing is so well written. When John McClane says, "Are you the guy in the car?" and Powell says, "What's left of him?" I love it. And I love the fact that Powell is a good guy. He's another good cop. And that's the connection Powell and McClane have. Powell is the one that recognizes he's with a brother cop, where guys like Dwayne T. Robinson doesn't see it. He understands he's a cop. There's the brotherhood that's noticeable. I like their partnership immediately. What a smart choice Val Johnson was for that role. And once again, I can't picture anyone else doing that role.
He's the guy that you want on your side always. As Carl Winslow, as Al Powell, as
Guy,
Turner and Hooch, who I can't remember.
oh, he was also in a Hallmark Christmas movie where he did very well, and he was
I saw
also
that one with with Blossom, right? It's
yeah,
like
that
him and Harriet
a
own
flight
an
before
inn
Christmas.
together. That's
It
what
was
it's called.
a flight before Christmas. What a good movie, and it also reunited Val Johnson with his Family Matters wife. I
Harriet.
forget what her. Yeah, great
Yeah,
stuff.
Joe,
No Urkel.
Joe Marie Patton, I think is her name.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool to see them all
I
together,
loved it.
and they threw Blossom in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Blossom. She got the moves. Yeah, remember her
The
dancing on
sun
the
is
piano
gonna
for the creepy
surely
dad?
shine.
Yeah, that's weird. That's a weird beginning. Die Hard is not weird. Bruce Willis at no point put on fishnets and danced on the piano for his dad that I know of. This movie's
It's a
serious.
strong family name. That's just
um,
what McLean's do, boy.
boy, where's my top hat, boy? Uh, so you get Al Powell now. He's convinced. Obviously, he would be. He had his car shot at. A dead body fell on it. He's now calling for backup. And you have one of the best characters in the Die Hard series. I think he's only in the first two, but he makes it count. William Atherton as Thornburg, the
Mm.
asshole scumbag reporter. Not only does he demand to cover this case because his instincts are good, but he also tells poor Harvey, the newscaster, to eat it. What did you think of Atherton as Thornburg?
He is a perfect asshole. The most smarmy motherfucker in the world. He's so good at that. You can overlook all of his other roles because he's so good at these two particular roles, this and Ghostbusters. He's a good actor. Sugarland Express, Goldie Hawn. He's great in
Yes.
that. But it will always pale in comparison to Walter Peck and Dick Thornburg.
And even like he brought up Ghostbusters, I don't think he's as much of a dickhead as he is in Die Hard. He's a 7 as far as a dickhead in Ghostbusters. He's a 56 in Die Hard. He's just off the charts awesome as a scumbag slime ball. He comes in, he's going to report on the scene, and then you have Ellis, who has this great idea to approach Hans and strike a deal, which in another great scene. Now, like I've mentioned earlier, I've known douchebags like Ellis. The term douchebag was created for guys like Ellis. And he goes and he goes to Hans and he says, "You want John is fucking things up? I can give him to you." You know it's not going to end good for Ellis. What do you think about like this great script capturing the douchebag that everyone has met so well?
It serves to differentiate between him and John. This idea that I, the man of power in the room, who's done a shitload of coke to get ready for this, Like
Hmm.
I can come in here and solve everything when in all actuality it takes a one scrappy dude in a tank top. It's seriously pissed off attitude. I love that because it shows that you can't negotiate with terrorists. Everybody who tries to have a negotiation or offer up something to them, they will just wind up getting shot. Another thing that this movie does is it has these murders. Like Takagi is a pretty bad murder, right?
Yes.
He's an honorable guy. He gets his brain splattered on the wall. Ellis,
Hmm.
a little bit of joy watching him get shot. Be like his hubris is what gets him killed. And I think it's a good time to mention like this movie balances tone so well. So you got these smarmy businessmen that get shot. Ellis is kind of a joke, but it kind of sucks that he dies, and like Bruce Willis
Hmm.
takes it really hard. This I don't know how this movie does it, but like it takes this horrible situation and never really goes too dark, which I think the second one gets really dark, like really dark.
Yeah, I
This
agree.
movie has a really good at walking that line between fun action entertainment and like genuinely terrifying violence.
Yes. Yes. There is a balance here. A fun factor, some laughs, a lot of action, and but still there's a purpose. The battle is McLean versus Gruber. And you have Gruber using his tools, but Gruber is the brain. He's the one that came up with the idea of shooting glass because he realized McLean was barefoot. And anything to slow this asshole down. And if Carl listened to Hans, McLean would have been out of the scenario. Do you remember that when he said, lock him in the elevator? Carl decided not to because he wanted revenge. In another world, Hans wins.
Yeah, and people die because they don't listen to more rational people. I love this sort of motif of Carl chasing John around the entire building and just not being able to really catch him. This might be a good time to mention sort of the way that the movie is set up. You never sort of lose track of anybody. You kind of
Yeah,
always know where everybody is, which is an amazing feat because you're in a building that's probably like what, like 50 stories or something like that,
something like that. Yeah.
and you know where John is at all times. You know where John is in relationship to where Gruber is, where Carl is. It's amazing how this movie is set up geography, which if you're unfamiliar with like filmmaking, if you're going to have like elements of danger and if you're doing like a horror movie or an action movie, you kind of have to keep track of where everybody is in relationship to each other.
Yes.
It's like,
Yes.
okay, so she's in this room and the killer's in that room, so like she can't make a noise, it'll be heard over there, and she has to get from A to B. The way this movie does that is so perfectly done that
Hmm.
it's almost amazing because you could very easily lose track of John goes upstairs and he goes through an AC unit and then he comes back around. He marks where he was by looking by seeing porn on the walls.
Yeah. Girls. Yep.
Girls.
Love it.
Like
Love it.
that's so brilliant. It keeps that element of danger rolling. John's in an air vent and they're down there and they know where he is and they're coming to get him and he's got to stick and move.
Him being vulnerable is what adds so much, and why I think part of the reason why this movie is so well loved. He is a guy who's going through struggles in Commando, which is a great film. Commando is fucking 50 out of 10 as far as I'm concerned. But there was never a doubt that Arnie was going to fucking kick ass. With this one, McLean is your everyday man. At any point, it could go south. He keeps fighting. It's having the courage despite the odds is what makes this so wonderful. With Hans, with this whole group of characters, it is the perfect movie, and it's so easy to root for McLean because I think everyone sees themselves in that role, and they may ask themselves like, "What would I do? Would I be the hero?" Where Commando, you say, "Well, if I'm gonna be the hero, I got to hit the gym first."
Anytime I go to like a group gathering or something like that, I'm like, God, what if I
Mhm.
have to die hard today? Like,
Yeah.
what if terrorists take over this wedding? Where am I going to go? Where are
Well,
the where are the ventilator shafts?
I worked at an airport right after 9/11. It was definitely in my mind, what would I do if something bad was happening? If a bunch of guys with machine guns ran in, What would I do? And I know what I would do. Yeah, I'll laugh. But the hero in me would wrestle those guns away and save the day. The odds of that happening are very unlikely.
Well, we'll get to the airport part in part 2. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got Al Powell outside. He's communicating
Yeah.
with John McClane, and we get his boss, Dwayne T. Robinson, played by Paul Gleason of Breakfast Club fame. Could they have gotten a better actor for this role?
Oh my God, no. It's like how do you have perfect casting? He's like the best asshole. But but with this one, he has like a different shade to him where he's sort of beholden to the FBI who shows up after a while.
Yes.
Where with Robert Davi and that other guy, who I should probably have written his name down.
Yeah, the other guy.
This is Agent Johnson, no relation. uh,
Yeah.
they start calling the shots, and then it becomes like sort of a three-way dance on the radio between the cops, John and Hans. So they can all hear each other. So Hans decides that he's going to go up and check on the explosives that are up on the roof. That you don't know about that yet, because there's another thing this movie does really well is it just has like little mysteries that you have to kind of figure out as the movie goes along. Just like a tiny little one when he's got the gun on Takagi, basically threatens to kill him. Theo says to Carl, "I told you." And you have no idea what the hell he's talking about. And then he shoots
Yep.
Takagi, and then Carl hands him a $10 bill because he'd bet that he wasn't going to kill Takagi. Just like little tiny things like that that kind of keep this movie flowing along. So Hans goes
Yep.
up to the roof to check on the explosives, and who does he run into but John McClane? Puts on what is, I guess, an okay American accent. What did you think of Alan Rickman's American accent in this? Oh God! Okay, you're one of them, aren't you?
Yeah, I think if someone yelled at me, "You're one of them," I would assume the voice was spot on. The accent was a little bit fucked. He tried though. He tried. He should have went with a southern accent because a southern accent is easier.
Let's
Oh,
hear the southern accent.
hey, hey, you over there, boy. Hey, why don't you give me some grits, boy? See?
My name's Clay, Bill Clay. Nice to meet you. I'm a Texas ranch. I wrangle cattle down in Texas.
Is it- yeah, because you'd ask for grits. I don't know. I'm not southern. I would just assume. So if you're
You
southern
ever
out
handle
there,
a gun before, Bill? Well, kiss my grits.
and I just assume everyone calls people boy. Hey, give me some. Hey, John McClane, boy, get over here, give me some grits. So if you went with that, it would be more believable than you're one of them, aren't you? Yeah, that accent by Gruber was not overly convincing, and but the movie knew it too, though. Like McClane knew it. Maybe by design it was supposed to be unconvincing.
When he hands him the unloaded gun and he tries to kill him, and he just, yep, oops, no bullets. I was
I love
listening
it.
to the I was listening to the commentary this go around because I mean I've seen this movie a million times. I could quote
Hmm.
all of it. John McTiernan says nobody does better acting with a gun in their face than Bruce Willis. I'm like, yes, you're absolutely fucking right. When he tries to shoot him and he just goes, whoops, no bullets. You think I'm fucking stupid, Hans? That's a
Uh,
badass moment.
it is. It is so fucking awesome. Like you've brought it up. The cast here is so good. The scenario is so good. The building is so good. It checks every box. So adrenaline filled. For a 2 hour movie, this thing flies by in like 10 minutes. You brought up the Gruber trying to get explosives. McClane stops him and realizes they're going to blow up the fucking building. And it leads to a great ending to this where you have FBI agents crashing in a helicopter, the top of the building blowing up,
Oh god.
McClane jumping off
Just
with a
this
fire hose.
this whole sequence is some of the most tense movie shit ever. You got the FBI who is prepared to start shooting hostages just to get terrorists. Gruber is about to blow the roof. John McClane's up there with all of the hostages. He has to herd them back downstairs, and he's like shooting a gun
Yep.
in the air. The FBI shooting at him. Han's about to blow the goddamn roof. John wraps a fucking fire hose around him, jumps off the building as it explodes. Oh my God, is there a better action sequence that has ever been filmed than this whole thing happening all at once? When he comes
Oh,
down the side of the building, the helicopter's crashing around him. fucking has to smash through the window. Oh my God. I can watch this movie a million times and it's still, between the editing and the sound and the acting and everything, is just like, it's so pitch perfect, man.
Oh my God. Can you imagine? Because you're an actor. Can you
Yeah.
imagine how difficult it must have been to shoot that scene, to act as McClane, to do the thing where you're swinging and kicking the window and shooting the window and then getting dragged by the fire hose? That must have been a long, tough shoot. What do you think?
It's really hard to sort of get a sense because everything looks so smooth when it's all put together. But
Hmm.
like, you have to get all of those little micro shots, all those little insert shots, and like all this like little tiny stuff that you chop together to make it look like a seamless thing. He was shirtless, being dragged around, like slamming up against plate glass with his feet. Pretty injured throughout this whole movie. I think he like
Yes.
separated his shoulder one time. He's partially deaf in one ear from that one scene under the table when he says, "Thanks for the advice." He like really shot a gun like right next to his ear. You like watch him in the movie too. He's like, fuck. So the whole building is like falling down, and we get this like really dope final sequence when Hans has Holly. He's with two other guys. John only has 2 bullets. He looks up and he sees tape. And then it cuts to him like coming out. One of the greatest hero shots of all time. He's backlit. He's, Hans! Great
Yes.
fucking scene. He's got the machine gun that's empty, but where's the other gun? And you're like, I have
Yes.
no idea what's about to happen. This is a very Western motif,
Yes,
this
I
final
agree.
scene. He tells a joke. John starts laughing, and he starts laughing, and he starts laughing, and Holly knows something's going on, which
Yes.
is another great sign in marriage. You're laughing too much, and your wife knows that something is up.
Yeah. Yep.
Because she has no reason to think he has any defense on him whatsoever. He just starts laughing hysterically. And she's like,
Yes.
oh, shit. And then he kills 2 guys. Hans, bullet through the chest, falling out the window. This is back when they used to just throw guys off of buildings.
It was awesome. And you have to say, the security guard guy had a good deal because he made it to the end before he took a bullet in the head, but he
Yeah.
almost got rich because all he did was he sat there, he lied to Powell, and then he just kind of hung out until the ending where he was with Hans and cashing in, where Carl and Franco and the rest of them had to fight. This guy, all he had to do was be the security guy and take his cut.
Theo, too, the hacker guy.
Oh yeah, Theo
Yeah,
too. Yes.
he almost made it to the end as well until our boy Argyle got a hold of him.
Theo had a purpose. Theo was a trained hacker. Like you said, you didn't bring me here for my charming personality. He had skills. That security guy was useless. I think he was probably just one of Han's wife's friends he had to bring just to keep his wife happy. At least it's what I think. It had to be something like that, I would assume.
Well, he knew how to
So
work a drill. All the terrorists kind of have their own personality as well. Al Leon, the guy who steals the candy bars,
yes.
who was also
Yes.
in Lethal Weapon. Did you ever see Ghostbusters 2?
Yes.
The guy who played the painting guy is also one of the terrorists. Vigo is his name.
Oh really?
Yeah,
That guy is
he's in
Vigo.
there. He's one of the guys who just gets randomly fucking killed. I think he's one of the guys who does the rocket launcher. The
Oh
guy with the
well.
long ponytail and the balding hair. The most
Oh
unintimidating of the bunch.
damn it! I was hoping it was the I see him guy.
Oh, sorry. It was his partner there. Yeah, I see him.
So Die Hard ends with Gruber taking the fall, which back in the day, a bad guy didn't die until he fell off a skyscraper, which needs to come back. And John and Holly reunite. Thornburg, who's been an asshole the whole time, gets punched out, and McClane has a new good buddy in Al Powell. They're buddies now, so everything is a happy ending. Although you get the last jump scare with Carl somehow surviving, and the ambulance driver putting a blanket over him, even though he's holding an AR-15. Um, Powell, who shot a kid, never shot again. He felt bad about it, and even though the gun looked real enough, and he ends up getting his balls back. He can now shoot again. He can shoot anybody. He doesn't care age or anything. He kills Carl. He's got his power back. You get in his way, he's gonna bust a cap in your ass. And I like that. I like that he's back to his old ways. What do you think?
I think that's like the only part of this movie that is like kind of like, eh. I liked Powell's sort of support thing. I could see him having a good desk job, which I think he does in the sequel. But that's
Hmm.
the only thing of like, will this cop be able to kill again? You know, like that's the only aspect of this movie that is kind of iffy in my eyes.
I liked it. Yeah, I liked how it was shot. I like Carl Winslow busting a cap in Carl's ass. I like that. So we end with some Christmas music and all the barabons or whatever they're called falling down. And we end with what would be a movie that would not only be super popular, but it would basically influence so many films after. Like Con Air
Yeah.
comes to mind, Under Siege. What was
I
that one
this
with that girl, the one that dated the 90-year-old oil billionaire? Anna Nicole Smith.
skyscraper.
Skyscraper, she did one. And there was another one, Tracy Lords did one. Like they were just pumping them out. Anything they could squeeze from. Oh, Sudden Death with Van Damme, another
Mhm.
Die Hard, and even Paul Blart Mall Cop is Die Hard comedic. So this
Oh man,
film just
it made its own subgenre of film.
it
Like
did.
it's Die Hard in a blank.
You're right.
Because
Yeah, because you
even
had.
even the Die Hard sequels didn't do Die Hard again, you know, like they didn't keep John trapped in one tight space.
So what's the
Even they
best
were
Die
smart
Hard
about it.
knockoff?
Best Die Hard knockoff? Under Siege is really good. I
It
mean, it's
is.
obviously not a cap on Under Siege 2. All right, you're gonna fucking hate me for this. The best knockoff is an episode of Pacific Blue where
Oh,
where terrorists take over the Santa Monica bike police station. And there's a guy
okay.
running around in the vents, Victor, and he doesn't do anything for the whole episode until at the very end he comes down, he slides down a pole and shoots a guy. But he's having a whole Die Hard movie in and of himself.
Nice. I've not seen it. I've not seen it.
No,
I
of
would
course
lean.
not. It's a
Um,
terrible show, but I fucking love it. What's your favorite Die Hard knockoff?
I suppose Con Air would be, at least if it's not a knockoff, it's heavily influenced by the Die Hard sort of style. Under Siege obviously is up there. It's tough. Like it would Speed be considered a Die Hard knockoff or just an influenced
I don't
film?
think so. I think it's a very specific, like you're trapped in a building and you have to outwit several bad guys.
So I guess Under Siege would check that box. As debatable the skill set of Seagal as an actor,
Mhm.
he found some gold in there. Good cast with Gary Busey and Tommy Lee Jones. So yeah, that was probably the best
Yeah, I would say.
knockoff of Die Hard. All right, so before we move on to your movie review and Die Hard 2, best thing about Die Hard and worst thing about Die Hard, if there is one.
This is a perfect movie. But one thing, as you know, I've kind of gotten into cinematography in the past year or so. I really watched the cinematography this time, and it's by Jan de Bont, who's I think Dutch, I believe.
Hmm.
And some of the things in this movie are so technically sound that you didn't really see it in action movies. The camera moves very subtly, and a lot of times it moves very emotionally. It doesn't just have like wide shots and close-ups and stuff like that. It moves. It's very fluid. And
Hmm.
just like that one scene you talked about where Dick goes, "Eat it, Harvey." There's the shot they pull back from Harvey, one person looking back, and then another person looking back, and then Thornburg looking back, all as they're pulling back. It's a very technical shot. And I think that's
Hmm.
part of why this movie is so kinetic and so interesting to watch, because the camera moves so fluidly and it follows the action so well. And like I said, it sets up the geography of the whole building. It's a
Yep.
beautifully shot film. Lots of dramatic lighting, lots of interesting sort of choices like in camera work.
Yep.
I think that is probably on my 1,732nd viewing is probably
Yep.
what I noticed the most. Like it is
Yep.
just it's a beautifully shot film. and it looks good. To this day, it still looks good. The camera work still holds up. It's better than most of the drone shots, fucking like massive one takes. It's just a
Uh,
good looking fucking film, and I don't think you can beat it. As far as bad goes, this movie just I'm throwing my cinema hat out the window. I don't give a shit. Like this movie's just fucking perfect. It rules. There's nothing bad about it at all.
yep.
Watch it. Every people who don't like action movies love this film. Just
Hmm.
fucking watch it. Don't listen to us talk. Just watch the goddamn movie. Gino,
Yes.
what's your favorite part of Die Hard, and is there a bad part of Die Hard?
I consider Die Hard the perfect film as well. I consider it the best action film of all time. It is difficult to find something that I don't like about it, from McClane's vulnerability to Thornburg's asshole nature to Powell's kind heart to Ellis being a douchebag to Carl being full of revenge. I love it all. I love it as a whole. I even like Argyle in that very small role. I thought it was amusing. If there was something bad that I could take from this, and there's very little, would be the heavyset gentleman at the convenience store giving Powell shit about buying Twinkies. The brotherhood Powell had with McClane as a cop, he should have had with the convenience store guy as a heavy guy who liked Twinkies. So I thought they missed the ball there. Otherwise, I was very happy. Great film, 10 out of 10.
Leave it to you to find that one guy.
Don't you think there's a brotherhood with guys who like Twinkies who maybe have a couple too many?
I don't know if they have a formal gathering or anything like that, or some sort of like quarterly meeting. Here's a weird thing that I've
Hmm.
I've noticed since I was a kid. You know that bit when John McClane stops the elevator and he like reaches in and like pushes the elevator button to send the ho 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 now I have a machine gun guy down.
Yes, yes, yes.
There's a shot in there where Bruce Willis looks exactly like Michael Keaton. He looks more like Michael Keaton than he does Bruce Willis.
Really? I'll have to check that out because most likely it's not Michael Keaton being his stunt double. So we don't have to tell you. You know Die Hard rules. We love Die Hard.
Happy trails, Hans.
Leading us to something that I recommend. Eric's 2 minute movie review. Every episode we give Eric 2 minutes to talk about a movie he's seen or recommends, or maybe one his friends saw and he trusts his friend's judgment and wants to give it a shout out. He hasn't done it yet, but he may. Eric, what do you have lined up for us?
I don't trust my friends to watch movies for me. I saw a fantastic movie.
Uh huh.
It's called Oh Hi. O
Oh.
H H I. It's by Sophie Brooks and Molly Gordon, starring Molly Gordon and Logan Lerman. This movie is about a woman and a man go away on a vacation together for a couple days. And then she's feeling all the romantic feelings, and he decides that he doesn't want a relationship. So she handcuffs him to the bed and keeps him there until she proves to him why he needs to be with her. This is a great fucking movie. It's smart, it's funny, it's observant of relationships. It's a really good insight into the dynamics of relationships and certain expectations that we have of relationships. Molly Gordon is fucking hysterical in it. And Logan Lerman is also really good. Check out Oh Hi. I just watched a movie called Holiday by John Whitesale, written by Tiffany Paulson. It's about two single people on Christmas. They're going to be each other's dates for every holiday. You ever heard that plot before? I mean, it's a Christmas rom-com, so of course, what's going to happen? But it's fun. The leads are very likable. It's very funny. It's R-rated, which I always appreciate those R-rated rom-coms. Check it out. It stars Emma Roberts and Luke Bracey. And then I just got finished watching just now, and I've never watched this movie before. It's an oldie. It's from like 1940. It's called Shop Around the Corner. You ever heard of this?
No.
By Ernest Lubitsch. Very famous writer, director. You ever see that movie You've Got Mail?
Yes.
This is the movie that movie is based on. It stars Margaret Sullivan and Jimmy Stewart. This is a very slickly written movie. It takes place basically in like one shop, and
Hmm.
it's Jimmy Stewart and Margaret Sullivan are pen pals. They are the bickering co-workers as well, but they don't know it. And it's sort of become this little game where Jimmy Stewart finds out, and he has to subtly sort of integrate his way into a good relationship with her. I love these kinds of movies where it's just like very fast, funny dialogue, very cleverly written, and
Hmm.
the leads are very likable. I think if you're going to have a rom-com, you just need likable leads and a clever script. This movie does
Yeah,
that in spades.
Jimmy Stewart's no joke. Jimmy Stewart, as you know, there was something about that time where you could have a fucked up voice and still be wonderful. Like Jimmy Stewart's delivery is very odd, but it's endearing, much like Humphrey Bogart. No one talks like Humphrey Bogart, but I love it. I don't think there's enough of it. Do you think people should come back and talk like Jimmy Stewart and Humphrey Bogart, see if we can get it to catch on again?
Yeah, I would really like it if just people were individuals. Like
Yep.
if they sounded, maybe a little different than your average Chris Pratt. People were, well, at least the men were allowed to be somewhat different back then. Jimmy
Hmm.
Stewart, he's a very sincere guy and he has a very strange voice, but that's kind of what makes him stand out. I miss when people used to just stand out, as opposed to just being fucking blah.
You're right because like yeah,
Not
now
that not that
everything is
I'm
kind of like
complaining about modern day actors or anything like that, but it's hard to think of those big personalities.
well, people don't take a chance anymore. I was watching the Golden Girls. The cast of the Golden Girls didn't give a shit. They were who they were. Like B. Arthur's amazing, hilarious, delivers well, and I think there is a concern like you want to stand out, but you want to kind of fit the mold of what they think is most palatable for the audience, and you lose something because Humphrey Bogart and Stewart,
Stewart?
if they were around now, I'm sure producers would be like, "Hey, we need you to talk normal. We can't have this shit." So we need more of that. We need more people that have personalities, that have their own approach, and uh, go Jimmy Stewart, go Humphrey Bogart, and go B. Arthur. Right on Maud, as your generation would say.
Listen, you wise ass. We're here to jerk off that cocksucker until he tries to take off. Period. Now, you're the wrong guy in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Story of my life.
Now we move on to Die Hard 2. Die
Die
Hard,
harder
he's going to be as hard as he can be in this film, which
with
really drew the people. This film was a blockbuster. I was privileged enough to go see it when it came out on the big screen. What a wonderful film this is, and you're trying to follow up on a perfect film, and what are you going to do? You're going to make it crazier and bigger, and you're going to set it at an airport, which is a great setting for some fucked up shit. What did you think of the setting? What did you think of making a sequel to a film that's perfect?
Oh, what a tough act to follow. How do you recreate that magic? John McTiernan didn't do it, but they got Rennie Harlan who did Nightmare 4. Airport's a great setting. It's isolated, but it's not a confined building. You're sort of stuck in this. And the way they keep John McClane in the story is actually really fucking smart too. I thought it was a brilliant choice.
In this film, you have Holly. She's flying back. Holly and John are back together. Everything's fantastic. And you have Esperanza, who's a big drug dealer, being flown back to, I think he's being held to trial. And then you have William Sadler playing Stewart. Now, here's the thing that was daring about this film. William Sadler, you probably recognize him from every single Stephen King movie ever made, but at no point did Stephen King have the courage to have William Sadler do karate in the nude. What did you think about that daring scene with William Sadler in the buff?
Sure. It's a strange choice. I don't know why they did it, but it sets up that he knows karate and
Hmm.
that he's in really good shape. But you know what? I'll always remember it, man. I will
Well,
never
here,
forget naked William Sadler doing karate in his hotel room, and then that final killing blow of turning off the television.
well, I have a question for you. You're a film director, and I want to learn. So, if you're directing William Sadler
Yes.
in this scene where he's naked and doing karate, do you tell the camera guy don't get his balls in the shot, or do you say we'll fix it in post?
You're gonna fix that post in post.
That's
You
what
see
I
it?
would do too.
No, I was really looking this time, and you can definitely see it in the reflection of the television.
Yeah, it was too much.
Talk about a bulge, my man.
But did he die hard? That's the question.
He almost got away with it too. He was probably escorting at least half a chub.
Yeah, because you gotta figure if you're working out naked, part of it is it's a sexual thing. Because no one works out naked. It doesn't happen. You're at least wearing, at minimum, tidy whities.
I'm
But
not getting into
they
this discussion with you again, Geno, and your obsession with tidy whities.
they,
I
they
think you
shouldn't
want the tidy
exist.
whities just so you can see the bulge.
So you have a lot of bulge, as you said, or whatever we're talking about. But
Mhm.
Esperanza is a drug guy. Stewart is his bitch boy who's running the team, who's going to make sure that Esperanza gets home safe. There's some Con Air in here. This is probably where the Con Air stuff comes to play. Sadler and his group of goons trying to get Esperanza out of the United States where all of
Mhm.
them can get rich. And
Sure.
you have John McClane who's really only concerned about Holly. Stewart fucks with all the plane controls, takes over, and now we have all the airplanes going in a constant loop and running out of fuel. And McClane has to stop it before they start crashing. What did you think of that storyline of Stewart, the big drug guy coming in, and McClane's objective to save the people in the airplanes above?
That is a brilliant setup for a movie. I know this movie is based on a novel called 58 Minutes by Walter Wagner, I believe. But like,
Hmm.
wow, what a concept, right? Like
Yeah.
you have all these people in danger at the airport because you got guys with guns running around. You got you got hundreds and hundreds of people floating around Washington D.C. They could drop at any minute. That is definitely a worthy story of a sequel to Die Hard. Holy shit! I noticed that the plot of this is crazy good. What did
Love it.
you think?
Oh, I love it. And I know what I love is Dennis Franz, who played Carmen in this. He runs the airport security, and immediately he's got a lot on his plate. He's got to deal with a bunch of morons that work for him. It's Christmas time once again. All this shit is happening, and he's got John McClane coming to him saying all these fucked up things are happening. And so I like Carmen. I think John McClane was a little bit on edge. I think he had a fear of airplanes because you had him take a shot at Al Powell where he said, "Take the Twinkie out of your mouth." And then you had Carmine who he said, "If you moved your fat ass when I told you to, we wouldn't have be hip deep in shit right now." So he was just lashing out at people. Did you think he was more mean spirited in this one?
I think it kind of escalated because his wife is in danger, simply because they didn't listen to him. I'd be kind of pissed
Yep.
too. But he started out stressed out. They didn't have the wife drama of the last one to hold on to. So I think just making him a little more punchy and a little more kind of condescending to airport cops,
Yep.
I think that substituted for that.
I agree. And I didn't like the line where he said, "What sets off the detectors? The shit in your brains or the lead in your ass?" I thought that line could have been worked on a little bit. Could have been better. What do you think?
I think a lot of the one-liners in this are a little forced. They didn't work there because there's a few that's like, what is this, a tag team? It's like that's a stupid
Oh
line.
yeah.
Another basement, another elevator? How does the same shit happen to the same guy twice? Like it's like,
Uh
oh, come on. It just didn't work this go around. I don't know why. I think it was Bruce Willis improvising. Not great.
yeah, it could have been better. I liked Samantha Coleman because you got Thornburg stuck in the airplane with Holly. He comes back, a great return. But Samantha Coleman, she's another kind of slimy reporter. But I liked her. I what did you think of Miss Sheila McCarthy as Samantha Coleman?
She's fucking obnoxious, but I think that was the whole point. She's a plot necessity. She's there to give exposition and she's there to help John at the end. So yeah, she gets a pass. The movie's good enough where you don't notice like how annoying she is.
But you know what's good about it is, let's say John decided to get a quickie with Coleman while this happened. Then Holly landed and said, did you fuck that slimy reporter? He could literally say, I did nothing with Thornburg, and she'd drop it. So it's kind of like a get out of marriage free card here.
Are you constantly looking for get out of marriage free cards?
How,
If I was in
whatever
that
angle I could
situation, I'll
find.
tell you, Colonel
Well, you
Stewart
heard.
doing naked karate.
Well, Coleman said, "You give me this, I'll have your baby." He wasn't looking for that. He doesn't want to be on the hook for a baby. But McClane needs some. Holly
He's
wasn't
got
giving
that.
it up all the time.
He's like kind of flirting with the lady at the desk. He's like checking out girls as they're walking by. He's
And
got that eye candy syndrome, man.
and when you tell Al Powell, "Hey, put my Twinkie in your mouth," or whatever that line was, that's also flirting in a way.
Are these the pickup lines you have for your
I have
for
better.
your
I
wife?
have I have better pickup lines.
What were
I'm the
some of the?
king of pickup lines.
Okay, let's hear your top three.
Well, I don't like sharing them because I don't think it's fair. You got to earn them. Yeah, it comes
You have to
natural. It's not
earn
fair. So I'll plead the fifth on my great pickup lines. But the Twinkie in the mouth, that one, that was a good one.
John catches onto the terrorists
Yep.
stealing. He thinks they're stealing luggage or something, but he ends up in like a fucking all-out brawl in the luggage room. What did you think of sort of the action in this? I thought it was a little contrived. Some of it was kind of stupid, actually.
It was stupid. It was the stunt doubles weren't hidden incredibly well.
No.
Um, and then you had the getting squashed by the thing that presses down the luggage.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if that would really work. I've not looked into it, but I would run the risk. Pay me $1 million, I'll give it a shot. If I die, I die, but I don't think I would. I, but then again, that guy with the mustache, that guy squashed, he did have a little meat on his bones, so maybe that fed into it. But yeah, the action sequences, they weren't as good as Die Hard, obviously.
I really liked the one where they're walking towards the antenna array, and they're walking on a Segway, and
Oh,
then
yes.
fucking Robert Patrick turns it off, and he's like, "Hey, turn that back on. We can't walk without it."
Yeah, what do I
I
look
don't
like
know.
to you?
A sitting
Duck.
duck.
Terminator
Wow.
2 guy, he needs a fuck off. That was just a bad scene. I do like who was the oh, what's his name? I can't think of his name. Was it Barnes?
Yeah.
Art Evans was fantastic in that role. Good team member for McClane to team up with until he finds Grant, played by the underused guy who should have been a superstar, John Amos. Because as this movie moves on, we get Stewart commandeering all the planes, taking over all the planes, and we get this special group from the military led by Grant, John Amos. Can you get better than John Amos? And why the hell didn't he become an A-lister?
I don't know. He was in Coming to America, Lock Up, West Wing. I mean, the dude's got a pretty decent resume. I think some of the things he says in this are just, they're not bad. They're just kind of off. It just, some of the things he said just sounded kind of weird.
Like what?
I don't, like when he goes, "Hey,
Shit.
isn't Colonel Stewart one of your men?" He goes, "No, no, not anymore. He isn't."
What about when he says we're here to jerk off that cocksucker? I like that line.
I know you do.
That's a wonderful line.
I'm certainly used to picking up like, oh, Gina's gonna mention this line. I bet something about jerk off, something about fat, something about cocksucker.
Yeah, it's just a good line because if you're in the military, and I'm not a military guy, but I've seen enough movies to know how they speak. 99.9% would say, we're here to jerk off that cocksucker till he gives us the code. And John Amos delivers it brilliantly.
Okay.
I love John
And
Amos.
also, and also talking about the mother of all coincidences, we have Dick Thornburg on the same flight as Holly. Who would have guessed? What did you think about Dick Thornburg making his way back into this movie for literally no goddamn reason except for the fact that William Atherton is a fucking treasure?
The problem is this. I think Holly's a fucking bitch in this to poor Thornburg. Because Thornburg, okay, he did dox her, not cool in the first one. He got punched in the face. So all is even. In this one, he's just trying to do his job. You know how cutthroat being a journalist is? So he needs to stand out. So he's there. He's trying to get a life going and get his career going. And she's constantly playing defense. She zaps him with the taser when he's just trying to report. Were you as turned off by Holly's bitchy behavior towards Thornburg as I was?
I didn't think she was bitchy at all. I thought that it was very appropriate considering how he put her entire family, including her children, in danger last time.
But
I
she
mean,
already
this
punched him in the face for it.
like if somebody threatened your children's lives through their stupidity, wouldn't
Hmm.
you be still pissed at them even though you decked them in the face?
Depends. Afterwards, if he got up, shook my hand, and said, "You're right, I'm sorry,"
He had a restraining order put against her.
those flight attendants were bitches to him.
Oh my
Swear.
god, like, the dude is an asshole. He's such a dick in this. He's a dick to them. This
Yep.
movie definitely has a very hostile relationship with the press.
Yes, it does.
All of these movies do, in fact. They just say that like the press causes panic for no reason. But at the same time, it's like this guy is such a weenie going around putting his nose in things. It's like it doesn't do anything but cause mass panic in the movie. So within the logic of the movie, Dick Thornburg's a huge dick and a Thornburg in her side.
He is a Thornburg in her side. I like that. I like that you came up with that. Thornburg in her
Thanks.
side. You're welcome. You know who I didn't like was that old bitch, the one that shocked her
Oh
dog.
yeah, Jesus,
She,
crazy
yeah,
lady that sits next to Holly is just like, I've got this zapper thing from Batman Returns, and I zapped my dog with it. It's like, well, you don't deserve to have a dog, you fucking asshole.
we do get these airplanes. We get that terrible scene where Stewart gets pissed off and crashes a plane. That was a
Mm,
pretty impactful scene because they included kids.
mhm.
And when you have kids in the scene getting killed, that scene sits with you. At least it sat with me. What do you think?
You don't come back to a lot of fun after that. That stuff like that really sits heavy with an audience. I don't have a problem with it
Hmm.
because they're bad guys and they should do bad guy things. But
Yep.
in terms of just like comparing it with the last movie, there's nothing the movie can really do to get back to sort of the fun aspect of it because that's
Yep.
so dark. Getting back to just like having a fun, enjoyable action movie it's a really tough climb. This is a great movie. It never gets back to that line of like, oh, this I'm having fun with this movie. This movie is like deadly serious.
You're right that there is the fun factor is gone, but what it maintains, in my opinion, is a strong cast. Like they did a great job with this cast,
Mhm.
including Fred Thompson, who played Trudeau, the guy running the airport. Stack 'em, pack 'em, and rack 'em. What do you think of Fred of Law and Order fame?
Such an idiot. I, he doesn't he never really sat well with me. He's like impotent tough guy where
Uh huh.
he's that when Colonel Stewart's like get that done and or else he goes, why don't you come here and say that? It's like I can't imagine like a least intimidating man saying that.
Yeah,
He became a senator in
he did.
Tennessee and ran for president in 2008.
He's the only 10 I see. That's a line.
Yeah, no, I know. Oh,
Uh,
I see.
but
How about
I would use it on Fred. Hey, if Fred
mhm.
Thompson was still alive, is he alive? I think
I
he dropped
believe he
dead.
is. Did he? All right.
I think he dropped dead. Maybe not. But if he's
You
not
might be
dead,
right.
uh, he's the only 10 I see. But I liked him as Trudeau. I thought that was I think he's pretty. I thought he was good in Law and Order. I think say it to my face. He is the old grizzled guy. Back in his day, you go fisticuffs. Come on, motherfucker, fuck with me now. I like that. I'm
I
surprised
run
you
an
don't.
airport. No,
Yeah, he's an
sorry.
airport
He doesn't.
guy.
He doesn't do it. Doesn't do it for me. There's some big stars in this movie that are kind of hidden. Cole Meany is in it. He was in Con Air and in Under Siege.
Yes, yeah.
He
John
was he,
Leguizamo, I think, was in it.
John Leguizamo, Robert Patrick, Mark
Yep.
Boone Jr. is in it.
A guy who looks like my dad played Marvin was in it.
Oh, that guy. Just like
You know,
Iwo Jima. Tom Bauer. Hills Have Eyes. Beverly Hills Cop 2. Yeah.
yeah, my dad looked just like him, but he wasn't as nice.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude. So, yeah, this movie got really dark for you.
That was okay. I didn't mind the character Marvin, you know, but I thought his choice in music stunk. That what was
It's
that
a
song? If you like something from behind, whatever that song is.
Yeah, so this movie has a lot going for it, and but it never reaches sort of that level of excitement. And I think a lot of that has to do with John McTiernan. Rennie Harlan is a good director. He did Cliffhanger. He did Devil's Pass, which is a good movie. I don't think he ever quite found that balance of joy that I think this movie has, and the third movie has. The third movie is also a little more playful with the
It
way
is.
that it does things, and I think this movie it didn't find that right balance of like fun and dark violence.
I think why this one isn't as good as the first one, or isn't comparable, is William Sadler. He is not the Stewart character. Can't compare to Hans. McClane didn't have the same sort of opponent, and you can say the same thing for Simon in the third. He was no Hans either. McLean needs a good opponent. Stewart and Simon are okay, but they're no Hans. Hans had charisma and was fun. I thought Stewart, he should just go back to fucking Shawshank. Get the fuck out of here. Let's get Hans back. He survived the fall and he's planning revenge on the airport. I would take that over Stewart. That's where I think this this really missed the mark. Although John Amos, love that man, and I think he really shined. And also Dennis Franz as Carmine, and his the guy whoever played his brother was good too. I like those guys. It's good, not great in my opinion.
So then they find out that the guys are hiding out in a church on the edge of the airfield. They go to it. John stabs the guy in the eye with a fucking icicle. That was fucking awesome.
Love it.
Then the platoon shows up and everybody switches out their bullets for some reason, and they all have blue tape around their magazines. And they start firing at each other, and then John takes off after the terrorists on a snowmobile, and then realizes when he tries to shoot one of the bad guys that he's firing blanks.
Yes.
Okay, so you find out that the bad guys are firing blanks at the platoon. How would you go about telling Carmine or telling the authority that these bullets are just blanks and that the platoon is in on it? What would your plan be?
I'm glad you brought that up because that is a scene where in reality McLean would have been shot. He takes Carmine, pushes him against the wall, and starts shooting the machine gun with blanks at Carmine, and then walks up and says, "Blanks, this is what they were using." One, time is of the essence here. Carmine needed 10 minutes to change his pants. It was stupid to do it that just for that, but man, that scene did not make sense. Why unload? Why not just push him against the wall and shove the clip in his face and say these are blanks? Why did he have to do the dramatics? I don't know. Didn't make sense. The security dropped the ball. They should have shot him.
And they all
So
had their guns out too. If you look behind John, they're all drawn and they're all ready to fire at him. Nobody does. Ipso facto, the terrorists and the platoon join and they get on a plane together with Esperanza and they're about to take off when John meets up with Coleman, the reporter,
hmm
and gets in a helicopter and winds up on the wing of the plane as it's trying to take off. And
yeah,
and what is actually the scene doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's actually fucking awesome. So he blocks the wing from taking off, and then your boy Grant comes out to try and deal with him, but he winds up getting kicked into a jet engine. Would a plane still take off if a guy was
I
in
don't.
the engine? Because I
I
know
saw a
planes
video
go
of a
down
guy.
because birds like
Birds.
wind
Yep.
up flying into the engine. I don't know.
No, I saw a video of a guy getting sucked into an engine and the whole engine blowing up. So I would think that the engine would blow up. And McLean really disappointed me here because when he said I have enough friends, you never have enough friends. it's nice to meet new people and have friends. And I thought Grant could have been a great friend to him. He just needed a little bit of TLC. And if McClane was, hey, we fucked up, but hey, come on this airplane, come to the tropics with us. You'll never have to work again. Yeah, I think McClane could have said, hey, just make sure my wife lands okay and I'm there. It could have worked out. But yeah, the fight
True.
scene of
And
Grant and McClane on the plane wing was cool, and the fight scene with Stewart and McClane was pretty cool too.
the naked karate paid off because it showed us that he knew karate.
What was that? Taekwondo?
It looked more like yeah, taekwondo or mixed with like tai chi.
That wax
Uh,
on, wax off stuff.
right. So back to Die Hard.
Uh huh.
Uh, so Stewart kicks John off the plane, but as he's falling off the wing, he pulls the fuel line, and fuel just starts spilling out all over the goddamn place. Which I don't know if that's how fuel on a plane works, but okay. In my opinion, this is the best this line has ever been. John sees the trail of gasoline from the plane. He takes out his Zippo lighter, and what does he say? Give it to me. Give it to me, Geno.
Yippee ki yay, motherfucker!
He lights the gas trail on fire and blows up the whole fucking plane. I'm goddamn positive that's not how fire, gasoline, or planes work, but oh my god, is it a fucking great visual.
Oh, it's wonderful,
It's
wonderful.
it's so stupid, but at the same time, it's just like it's action movie bullshit, baby. It's awesome. What did you think of? What did you think of the ending of this movie?
I loved it. This film has so much sentimental value to me. I was living in a shitty apartment and I had a VCR, and the only movie it would play for some reason was Die Hard 2. So I watched Die Hard 2 a billion times. So it's kind of got a sentimental value to me. I know it basically front to back. What a good movie. You can't follow Die Hard 1 and think you're going to be comparable. But this is a good second entry. I would have liked to see Al Powell with more interaction. I'd like to see a better bad guy than Stephen King's William Sadler guy. But you got Dennis Franz, John Amos, Sheila McCarthy, more than decent. Great ending, and a great journey to get there. Although, if you watch when Thornburg does his announcement and they spread it over to the airport that there are terrorists and they crashed a plane, watch all the extras and how they respond, and most of them are acting like complete idiots as they run out of the airport. Who the fuck is directing these guys? I know there's 600 of them, but they're like waving their arms like crazy and looking very unnatural. Did you notice that, Eric, during the evacuation scene?
I did actually. It's people in utter hysterics to a point where you think like everyone just has like mass hysteria. But
Yep.
again, I watched the commentary on this one, and Rennie Harlan said because of where they were shooting, he couldn't use his megaphone in the Denver airport and say the terrorists are coming. Okay, so you just learned the terrorists are about to blow up the plane. He couldn't
Ah,
say that out loud, so he
yep,
kind of relied on people like passing the word around to like how they
yep.
were supposed to act. I think a lot of people just didn't get the message.
That makes sense. Now here's a question: do you think that McClane stays in contact with Marvin after this movie? Marvin doesn't seem to have a lot of friends, and McClane and him seem to kind of click a little bit and kind of like hey, I'll be friends with the dumb guy because I feel bad for him. Do you think that McClane kept that up?
No, because
No.
Marvin's homeless. He probably didn't even contact him. There's a deleted scene where John says like Marvin's like, "Why should I help you?" And John's like, "Because I'm not going to tell people you're actually living in the bowels of the airport." And he goes, "All right, I'll help you."
Now, if McClane was having a barbecue, he would invite Powell. You don't think he'd say, "Hey, I'm gonna send an invite to Marvin," and then just ditch him on Powell should he get annoyed?
Yeah, hop on a plane and come to L.A. so you can come to my barbecue.
Marvin would though. You know what's nice about this film is we talked about how in the first one he's like fucking California. Well, he's dealing with fucking Carmine and his brother, so he's back to the rude assholes of New York. Or was this Chicago? Where this place?
It's
Where does this movie take
Washington
place?
D.C.
Same thing. So he's going from hot blondes straddling a guy in the airport to Dennis Franz saying, "Did you see my ass on NYPD Blue?" It's not the same.
Did you see my ass in Psycho 2, buddy?
Oh no, he did show his ass. He must be proud of his ass.
Hey,
Like
he's got a pretty decent ass there.
it's an apple. It's like an apple ass.
Even if he's got lead in it, it's still shapely.
It's a man who's done squat thrusts in his life.
He ain't living no sedentary life behind that desk. He's running around.
He's of the age where the Jane Fonda step aerobics was very popular, and that stuff
Yeah.
will build your ass.
Dennis Franz, I don't know how old he was during the making of this movie. He has looked the exact same for like 20 goddamn years.
Like
From
he
Psycho
aged.
2 to NYPD Blue. Psycho 2 was like 81, right?
Yep.
And then
Yes.
NYPD Blue went to like the early 2000s. He didn't change a lick.
It's almost like he aged terribly until he was 30, and then it aged at all after that.
What little hair there is left is staying right there, baby. And you know what? Oh my fucking God, he showed his ass in City of Angels too, didn't he?
He did.
Oh
He
my
did.
God, this dude, he's got a thing. He's like Quentin Tarantino in feet. He's got to get his ass out there.
I was waiting for you to use some pun like he's cracked up to be. But I'm glad you didn't. Now, outside of Bruce Willis, who was the MVP of this film?
I would say Barnes.
Bon-
I loved
Yep.
his character in this. He really carried the energy through a lot of those scenes. And I loved the sort of friendship he had with John, where there's one scene where John's like patching up his wound and they're like talking to each other and he's being very encouraging, especially
Yes.
after the antenna array blows up and the plane goes down. He's just like trying to like get John through this. And a lot of the ways Al Powell was trying to get John through the first one. I thought he was just a really good foil with a lot of energy. And at the end, when the planes finally all land because of the trail of fire that John left, the look of relief on his face is just like, I'm like, oh man, like he sold the hellish night that he had so well during this whole
He did.
movie. MVP as far as I'm concerned. Gino, what about you? Who did you love in this film that wasn't just John McClane?
My MVP will be no surprise is John Amos's Grant. This guy is so amazing. He's so charismatic. His delivery's so good. He's just wonderful. Like if they said there's an award show called Wonderful, who are you nominating? John Amos. The guy is he could have had a much better career. He should have. And I'm not sure what the problem was, but great in this. Like you said, great in Coming to America. The guy has it all in this film as the tough guy, but still, even like that line, I guess you're not such an asshole. No, I'm just your kind of asshole. And that's I've used that before because it's so true. And I fucking loved the. I was hoping they'd become friends, McClane and Grant, but
Yeah.
apparently McClane had too many friends. But John Amos is my MVP, but I have a world of respect for Art Evans as Barnes and also Dennis Franz as Carmen. And also, I know you weren't big on Fred Thompson. I liked him as the sort of like grizzled, old guy who still thought he was tough. But really, I mean, at that age, what's he gonna do?
Yeah, he did bring a different kind of energy to it, for sure.
I liked Sheila McCarthy as Coleman too. I thought she was a lot of fun and a good balance from Thornburg being kind of up in the sky and out of the picture. So yeah, great cast. So
Okay, so outside of Yippee Ki motherfucker, what are your two favorite lines from these two movies?
I loved when this will be a surprise. Dennis Franz says we don't need a Monday morning quarterback, and he said fuck Monday morning. My wife's on that goddamn plane, and if you moved your fat ass, we won't be hip deep in shit right now. Love that line. My other line is we're here to jerk off that cocksucker until we get the numbers. um, Those are my two favorite lines. What are your
I
two
would
favorites?
I would say more. I would go. These are just two great fucking cinema lines at the end after he shoots Hans and he just does the happy trails, Hans. Like that moment is just fucking great. That is the moment he became a movie star. And in the second one, Grant cues him up where he goes, "You're just the wrong guy at the wrong place at the wrong time," and he just looks at him. He's just like, "Yeah, story of my life." I'm like, "Yeah,
Love
oh
it.
God." His
Love it.
delivery on some of these things is just fucking perfect. In summation, what are your thoughts on Die Hard 1 and 2?
Die Hard is the best action film of all time. It checks every box. I watch it multiple times a year. Love it to pieces. Die Hard 2, if you're going to follow up a perfect film, you can do a lot worse than Die Hard 2. I love that film as well. It's a good time, lots of fun. I have nothing bad to say about either one of them. You can nitpick and say, well, Hans is way better than Stewart, which he is, but you can't go up from Hans. You have to fucking go down somehow. Great movies, lots of fun, lots of action, lots of funny lines. Bruce Willis is very charming in both. What do you think, Eric?
Yeah, I would agree with you. Die Hard is like the perfect action film, and it just does everything right. And it's everybody working at the top of their game, doing what they do, you know. And Die Hard 2 is like probably as a consolation prize for not being Die Hard 1 is probably one of the best action movies of the 90s for
Yes.
sure. I would rank it up there against anything that the 90s had to offer. Is the plot is inventive and good. Sequels, as they always are coincidental. Like, oh, this shit's happening to the same guy twice. Just kind of just watch the movie and just let the stupidness take over. It's a great
Yep.
film. It's a great movie. I watch them in tandem every Christmas, especially Die Hard 2. The Christmas kind of comes through because they're always out in the snow and it's
Yes.
cold and there's like people all around everywhere and like terrorists giving gifts to each other in the middle of the airport for some reason. I'm still not sure why they did that, but John McClane has to see it happen. They're great movies. Both of them are great movies. Highly recommend.
And if I'm not mistaken, and I might be mistaken, you'll correct me. Didn't RoboCop 2 come out the same year as Die Hard 2?
1990.
It was a year of action, and there are certain films that I say are beyond films. They're events, and the Die Hards are events. The problem is people do tear down the other Die Hards by comparison, but two holds its own. 1990, like you said, I'd put it up against anything, including RoboCop 2, another great movie. But yeah, what a way to spend your Christmas, everyone. If you're taking Christmas off and you want a couple movies, watch Die Hard 1 and 2. Any final thoughts there, Eric, about Die Hard, about Naked Karate, or anything else?
You watch movies sometimes, especially if you make movies. If you make a lot of movies, like we do, you can
Hmm.
sort of lose the effect of watching movies.
Yeah, I agree.
You go, okay, that's how that works. That's how this works. So they probably did this in a two shot, blah blah blah, and then got coverage. But like when you've watched a movie 1,000 times and it still like gives you heart palpitations every time when John jumps off that fucking roof,
Ugh,
like this is what movies do, man. And these are why movies fucking rock, is it gets your heart rate up and it makes you feel things. And
yes.
that's exactly what it sounds so weird. I wish it had like a cooler name. When you're just talking about like the emotional input of Die Hard,
Yeah, yep,
it's like
yep,
it's like the most action movie title that's ever exists, but everybody talks about it like it's a piece of art cinema. This is what movies should do. They should thrill you, they should excite you, they should put you through different feelings and different emotions. And I think Die Hard does everything right. And I'm
yep.
so happy for these movies. There's very few series that I watch consistently. It's like Mission Impossible. I watch those all the time. But like Die
Mhm.
Hard, those first three movies, I could just watch them anytime. If they're on, my day is over. I'm
Oh
watching
yeah,
Die Hard that day. It's those movies that anytime there's a new physical media transfer, so from
yep.
VHS to DVD to Blu-ray, it's like, yep, you gotta buy Die Hard again.
On the Blu-rays, they have like the opening menus where the Nakatomi Tower is zooming at you. It's
Yeah.
cool shit. This is one you want to own. My final thoughts: instant classic, best action film ever, and Die Hard 2 rules. and yippee ki motherfucker, and Merry Christmas to all, and to all a yippee ki. What do you think, Eric?
Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho.
Okay.